make it easy for you today. It looked,
I mean, these
plain
conditions have made it incredibly tricky. You know, the temperature, getting these tyres into the right operating window was what it was all about. And you can see it's changed the running order a little as different cars have reacted differently to you know, these conditions and this track. So you know, an outstanding job by Max. Our strategy was slightly different. We weren't doing the build lap and push lap, particularly that last run. So it was all about getting the optimum out lap, getting the temperature that he needed in, and then nailing the lap, which is exactly what he did.
Can I ask you about the other side of the pits there? Because Checo looks like he's had one of the worst days of his F1 career. He's
had a horrible day today, and you know, it started this morning. The car you know, was late off the weighbridge. There was no major issues, and his plan in P3 was always to run differently to Max, not do a long run. He was just doing 2 short runs. His first short run, you know, there was this issue. Oh, that was in qualifying. So, you know, he never really recovered from that P3, and then, you know, this lap, which was never going to be really a consequential lap, to unfortunately lock up and go off. We're just checking, obviously, all the data and to see if there's some, you know, something within the engine, you know, management that has maybe contributed to that. So, you know, we're just going through all that data as we speak.
Well, we saw the car go out quite late. There was still some work being done on the car at the beginning of qualifying, similarly to FP3 today. And then as Checo went off, he said it's exactly the same problem he had in FP3. Do you have a little bit more of a word on what exactly that issue comes down to, what he's feeling in the car?
It was you know, you saw him grab the brakes a couple of times, you know, lock up and run deep and run off. He ran off twice in FP3, and on that first lap, you know, he's gone in, he's pushed quite hard and locked, and you know, unfortunately run into the gravel, and this time not been able to come out the other side. So we're just looking at, you know, what has contributed to that, you know, and trying to ensure that if there is something, it's not there tomorrow.
I mean, I think I was saying to Simon, as a driver going into the race, we know you're very efficient in a straight line. We saw the power of your DRS, but he's got to be able to stop. Would you guys think about giving him a few extra reconnaissance laps to give him a little bit of a feel and confidence back, because that would have knocked him today, surely?
No, absolutely, and I think that you know, confidence is so crucial, and he's been you know, to that point, you know, this weekend, yesterday, he looked very, very strong, and you know, it was just a horrible session. That first run on the soft tyres, nothing went right for him. Then you end up on the back foot, then you end up pushing too hard, then you try and nick a bit in the braking zones and so on. So going into qualifying, it was, you know, it wasn't the ideal build-up for him.
Now, moving back to the other side of the garage, obviously a great result for Max in the end, but we did hear him having some concerns about downshifts as well as the battery. Is reliability starting to be
there was,
a topic for you guys?
No issue with the battery. I heard you guys pick up about a battery, but that was, he was talking about the downshifts. Now, the drivers have different settings that they can run, obviously on the downshift wise, and you know, sometimes the harshness of those shifts, particularly when it's low grip, you know, that it can cause the rear axle to lock, and that's, you know, what they particularly don't like.
Christian, if you iron out these reliability issues, which, you know, quite often you get at the start of the season, we've seen it with you before. I was talking to a couple, I won't name them, but a couple of members of your team who really believe this is one of the best packages that you've ever put together. Is this the best Red Bull car potentially that you'll have ever? I mean, I know it's really early in the season to say, but it augurs pretty well, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we're 1 point off a maximum score in 2 races, and you know, we've got a bit of work to do tomorrow, but you know, that's the 3rd pole position in a row. The team have done an unbelievable job with this car, but to say, is it our best car? We've had some pretty mighty cars over the years.
Mighty cars,
but you know, it's definitely right up there, but we'll only be able to really judge it at the end of the year. And I think when we head back to Europe, you know, we're hearing sizable upgrades coming through with other teams and so on. You can see the delta here is a lot smaller than it's been at other tracks, and I think that will continue to be the case as we move into the European season.
Talking about maximum point scoring, obviously Max has a great chance tomorrow to score maximum points. Checo obviously starting at the back of the grid. Provided you do solve the issues that he's had today, what do you think is possible for him tomorrow?
Well, I mean, Max was up into P2 by halfway through the race from 15th on the grid in Jeddah. Now, this is a much harder track to overtake at than Jeddah, but there are the 3 DRS zones. We have got a good race car, and so it's going to be a question of staying out of trouble, making you know, progress, picking the right strategy, and of course, crucially, Checo, as Max, has 2 sets of hard tyres available. They're the only 2 cars that have that tomorrow. Now, if that proves to be the more dominant tyre, that could really be a significant factor for him in the second half of the race tomorrow.
Well, I'd say you're in a good position, certainly with Max Verstappen, and we'll see what Checo can do from plumb last, but we saw exactly what Max could do from 15th last time. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.